Good morning and welcome to Making Sense of It. This program is our gift to you from the Glasser Institute for Choice Theory. I am Mona Duncan, the moderator, and each week we ask someone from the Glasser Institute to present a concept of his and how they use it in their life and the amazing results that it brings. We record the program, and those that are live, after the recording stops, you are welcome to ask questions and make comments. So I trust that you'll be able to stay around after the recording. So our speaker today is me. I have extended the invitation to a lot of people, and every once in a while, whenever there's a lag, I'll just kind of stick in and see what I can do. And today we're going to be talking about the pleasure-pain syndrome. So let me bring this up and share it and put it on the full screen. The pleasure-pain syndrome is, okay, there we go. Go back to the first one that we can see the kitty cat that's all happy and smiley and versus the one that's in pain. And that's just kind of one of the things about life. But we are driven to succeed. There's just something inside of us that, like a moth to a flame, we are drawn toward happiness and success and good times and pleasure, while at the same time we're trying to avoid failure and unhappiness and discontent. And it can be a battle because we're drawn toward that pleasure. The thing of it is that sometimes, well, life is, I call it a backwards, crazy, mixed up law as to how the way one thing works. It kind of, sometimes whenever we have too much pleasure, it turns to pain. And when we can realize the benefit of pain and what pain is trying to teach us, it can turn things around to where it is more pleasurable. So, knowing with the Glasser Institute for Choice Theory that all of our behavior is purposeful, even though we may not be that aware of what we're doing and what the purpose is. We're trying to achieve some kind of a purpose. And we have some basic needs to survive, to keep on breathing and living. We have a need to be a part of, to love and belong. We have a need for purpose. Why am I on planet Earth? And out of that purpose, it's the things we do that brings about accomplishment and gives us a need for, for fulfillment and power. We also have the need to make our own decisions. Just don't tell me what to do. We need to be free and to say yes and to be pleased with the yeses that we give, or to say no, and equally to be okay with the no's that we say. And then also we have this need, this internal need to have fun. And as a matter of fact, Dr. Glasser defines fun as the inward, that whenever we're learning something, we're having fun. At least we're enjoying life, whenever it's not the same old, same old. And we attempt to control the world and the people around us in order to get our needs met. And sometimes, so we are needy, but there can be a problem with being needy. One of the things is that the needs are generic. They are universal. Everybody in the world has the same needs, met in different ways with the same needs, the same need for food, even though the cuisine varies exponentially. They're overlapping and they're sometimes in conflict with one another. The trouble with the needs is that they are encoded genetically, and we are behaviorally driven to have them fulfilled, but we don't have a roadmap. Also, it's looking at these needs are met, these internal needs to a large degree are met externally. For the example of the need to survive, to eat, to nourish ourselves. That need, whenever, like Winnie the Pooh, whenever that grumbly is in the tumbly, we're searching for a honey pot. But we meet that need externally, outside of us, to bring it into us. And the range of meeting that need for hunger is, again, a very wide range. It can be from growing it yourself and cooking it yourself, or going to the grocery store, or going to a place that dispenses food. Or, you know what, we may even be so desperate that we would dive into the dipsty dumpster to get leftover garbage, because those needs are internal and they drive us to have them fulfilled. And the way we fulfill them is we pursue those needs unconsciously. Have you ever wanted something but you didn't know what you wanted? And I find that whenever I kind of get that restless feeling, is, oh, what am I want? I find myself looking in the cabinets and looking in the refrigerator, and I usually wind up with something to be taken, even though that's not what I'm wanting. We pursue these needs unconsciously. We don't even know what we're looking for. And the pursuit of these needs are internal, and they're often met in destructive ways. So from childhood on, I mean, one of the first things that first of all, as infants, someone has to take care of us 100%. Feed us, carry us around, clothe us, bathe us, do everything for us. But being driven like a moth to the flame to succeed, we're wanting to do it. And from infants on, we say, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Even though we may not have the muscle strength, we may not have the intelligence, we may not have the wisdom and the insight. And that doesn't happen as we go on through life. As a matter of fact, well, very often, oh, I'll do that. Oh, I'll do that. I'll do that. And we keep being loaded down with what we will do until we say, I can't do that. I've taken on too much stuff. And so then what we want is a quick fix. And so we look for a short-term something to give us pleasure. Maybe take a nap, get some food, have a drink, take an aspirin, do some work. But then those things all too often those short-term pleasures turn into long-term pain, because it can become addictive. What it originally gave a high, after a while, just becomes ordinary and needs more and more stuff. So we just go through this loop again and again and again, looping again, back, searching for pleasure and pain while trying to avoid, searching for pleasure while trying to avoid the pain. And so the weaker we are, the less options we have. But the problem with pleasure, which is a type of a reward, or pain, which is a kind of a punishment or a disavowing, is that it gives the individual a sense of being in control. For example, if you had something to give to someone that would reward them for doing what you're wanting them to do, it gives you the feeling of being in control. Or maybe if you punish someone severely for what they did not do, again, it may give you the feeling of being in control, but you're still not. So those negative pleasures can lead to pain, and those positive pain can lead to pleasure. That sounds kind of backwards. Well, an example, in the 2015 international conference that was held in Las Vegas, Mike Fulkerson did a role play with a young lady that was playing the part of being a rebellious teen, and her mom forced her to go to counseling. So as we begin, we'll do the math with that. So she goes to counseling. Mom demands that the teen be in time, do certain things at home as well as stick to a certain schedule. But the teen's defiance of that she didn't want to do what she was required to do, or did a lick and a promise, did not do a good job of it. And also the fact that she would sneak out and go be with her friends, and it caused the pain of restricted freedom. I mean, her mom began to really close those privileges in. But through questions that is not to grill, but to help someone see something that they may have not noticed before. After compassionate dialogue with Mike and a deeper understanding, the team began to see, maybe I really am hurting myself. Maybe I am self-sabotaging me. And so, although it was painful for the teen to adhere to mom's boundaries, at the same time, and to do the chores that were required of her diligently, at the same time as she began to do that, she gained mom's trust. And because of gaining mom's trust, mom gave her more leniency. And that's the beauty of the pleasure pain syndrome, is that as we begin to realize that what we are doing may be causing us pain. And so Dr. Glasser defined happiness, and who is not looking for happiness? And he gave it 4 qualifiers. 3 of them are positive things to do. And one of the qualifiers for happiness is a do not do. So let's look at those. One of the qualifiers of happiness is enjoying the life you are choosing to live. And whether we enjoy it or not, it's once we get that realization that, you know what, I am choosing the life I'm living. I am choosing the choices I make, the things I do, the places I go, the friends I have. I am choosing that. But is it bringing me pleasure or pain? And so working with the federal prisoners and at the at-risk community, sometimes people really back off, well, I'm not choosing my life. But what if you could? And then another definition of happiness, not only choosing the life you're choosing to live, but getting along well with the people near and dear to you, or at least reasonably well, so that it's not constant conflict. And getting along with them, and who is near and dear to you? Well, we might name 1 or 2 people, but what about your coworkers? What about your employer? What about all of your family? What about the married ends as well as the born ends? What about your neighbors? And they really are near and dear to us as we can begin to grow into more maturity and into more happiness as a whole. The third qualifier of happiness is doing something with your life you believe is worthwhile. And many times people will be doing things with their life that may be bringing in a few bucks, but they may not be seeing it as being all that worthwhile. So then what is the not doing qualifier? Is not doing anything to deprive another of a chance for happiness. It's not doing anything to deprive someone else for a chance for happiness. And we may be doing that, but having such strict boundaries or such rules for others to follow, sometimes even to the point of writing the script for them to. And what happens whenever we do things that do deprive others of a chance for happiness, it leads to our own destruction, our own pain, the mental illness, leading to addictions, because we never give up on pleasure. We never give up on pleasure. We begin to use people because we never give up on pleasure. And it leads to addictions, things that was titillating initially, but then you have to have more and more and more. And even then you don't have much pleasure there. It leads to violence. It leads to unloving sex. So Dr. Glasser, a quote from him, he says, I believe, and through looking at his concepts, I have an acknowledgement to this too. He says, I believe that barring grinding poverty, incurable illness, or living under tyranny, unhappiness is the only human problem. When we are unhappy, we are dissatisfied, and we try to do something about it. We try to change our own life, or more often than not, we try to change someone else's life. And when we are unhappy, our life contracts. Everything draws in. we become compacted, we become constipated. So how do we overcome this? Well, some of the keys is to be aware. It is looking at the fact of not what is someone else doing to me, what am I doing to myself? What am I doing to others? How can I be aware of these concepts that brings the true happiness of life, loving and enjoying what you are doing and who you are with, and realizing that it's taking personal responsibility for your own life and continually self-evaluating. Is this helping? Is it hurting? Is it bringing us closer together? Is it driving us further apart? And in the process, to make some kind of a plan. The one I am engaged in is not all that beneficial. It's not all that pleasurable. So what kind of a plan can I make that, like the rebellious teen, it may be a little bit difficult to start with, but as it begins to gain trust with mom and it begins to improve the relationship, and always, always, always in every one of these, we need to get with ourselves bottom line honest. I mean, do the math. Put all of the disappointments, all of the heartaches, all of the positives, all of the negatives, but then look down here, and this is the bottom line. It's where I am now, and where do I want to go? And although these are put in a little circle, we really can bounce back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with any of them. And so we're looking here as we search for pleasure that turns to being painful. What happens with that pain is we don't see the purpose in it, that it's life trying to wake us up and give us a message. And so we give up on the challenge. We just give up. And we are distracted. We use distraction to reduce that pain. Maybe if I could just zombie out in front of this TV for a while, I'd forget about all the pain. Maybe if I could just satiate myself with whatever, whether it's pleasure or stuff or food or, we begin to medicate in order to escape the pain. And we have a mood change. People ask us, well, what's wrong with you? Nothing's wrong with me. We become self-depreciating, realizing our inside, we know deep down inside, because we have that, we're drawn to success, and we know that we have gifts and talents to give. But whenever things begin to turn out and they don't work so well and it's so painful, we begin self-depreciating, and we begin embodied in guilt and shame. And then here's another one of the oddities. We begin to take pleasure in pain, meaning that we're commiserating with someone else that, well, you just think you have it bad. Let me tell you what, let me sing my "She Done Me Wrong" song. And it's really bad. And what happens is, as we become contracted, as we become more narrowed down, more compacted, it leads to, we are addicted, we are fragmented, and we are divided. But as we can begin to realize that that pain is a message, it's telling me something. And we see the purpose in that. It's trying to wake me up. I want to keep going back to sleep, because when I'm sleeping, well, I don't like that either, because I'm having nightmares. So, okay, we see the purpose in pain, and we begin to accept the challenge of it. That whenever some crazy person tells us that you can make choices in life that are more beneficial, we begin to say, oh, really? And we begin to have, maybe, well, what if you could? So they begin to accept the challenge and begin to overcome failure, begin to reducing the pain. Well, yeah, this is a little bit better than having a halfway decent attitude about a difficult job, is a little bit more pleasurable than being so constricted. And we begin to gain worth, not only in what we're doing to do it more proficiently with better outcome, but we're gaining self-worth, because we're beginning to realize that that inside is saying, yeah, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Like the little train, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And eventually, on the time, and then as you begin, I think I could, I thought I could, I thought I could. That we begin to be more self-disciplined and begin to love ourselves, love life, just love the challenges, and begin to having more fun, more that even though it's kind of a sweaty job to do, was exhilarating. And we become whole, healthy, and fulfilled. And so it's realizing that we are a part of the community, a circle of life, that we're always a part of it. But when we live in the basement with all that pain, the world really is looking down on us, or at least we assume that. That is, we can begin to come out and be who we are created to be, who we are born to be, who we are, fulfill those needs that are within us, in good, healthy needs, as we begin to expand and our world grows and grows and grows. And so we get a new picture album. We begin to visit new visas, go places we've never been before, talk with people we've never talked with before, begin to open our eyes and see what's available. Our appetite is whetted. It is stimulated to learn and to grow, to look and see what's the possibility. We have this paradigm shift that whenever I think these grumpy thoughts, I become grumpy. This paradigm shift. But if I begin to think different thoughts, things change in a different way. We begin to live from our imagination of what I can do, as opposed to the memory of what I have done, of what I was like. Live more from imagination, live more from the waking up to seeing what is possible, the possibilities, the infinite possibilities of dreaming dreams, believing in it. You know, sometimes you say, well, when I see it, I'll believe it. Well, let's switch that around. When I believe it, then I will begin to see it. And always for the positive, even though there's a lot of negatives in life. Becoming the little engine that could. I think I can. I think I can. And to start off with reading, learning, and making the commitment to become trained in the Glasser method of choice theory and reality therapy and lead management. And so we're going to stop this. I'm going to leave it with a little poem that I've written, which is a progressive blessing. And it is my hope. And, you know, Dr. Glasser's motto was to teach the world choice theory. May you awaken each day with excitement over a new day. May you revel in changes and challenges and humbly triumph. May you embrace change as a life-giving force that it is. May you be released from whatever's keeping you stuck. May you be encompassed by peace, even in the midst of difficulties and turbulence. May you experience restful sleep and pleasant dreams. And may the last thought of the day be simple: thanks, 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 thanks. Thanks for life. Thanks for the ability to learn, the ability to grow, the ability to overcome. And so this brings our little session today to a conclusion. Thank you for being here. And I hope you have noticed that in the chat, I have put out my email address, and I am asking for those that are certified to be willing to come on to Making Sense of It and present your little skit that you did to become certified initially with reality therapy and choice theory. Because maybe someone made the comment, how can we help our distraught youth of today? Maybe if we could put some of these on their TikTok and they begin to see how others of us in small ways learn to overcome difficulties of life, it may make a change there. So thank you for being here. Know that all of these are on the website, glasser.com, wglasser.com, and they're open to the public. So thank you for being here, and go in peace.